Go to the next presenter, which is Richard Mortensen, Sales and Procurement Manager at MEST Shipyard. Richard joined MEST Group in 2015 and is part of the management team. Prior to MEST, Richard worked with the Faroese IT company Electron and Faroese Telecom. Richard has a master's degree in business administration from 1988 from Copenhagen Business School, and has during the 80s and 90s worked in London and Copenhagen as management consultant and partner with PA Consulting Group. Well.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you very much for getting the opportunity to talk about MEST and our work on building the first aquaculture emission-free workboat. Thank you very much. First of all, I'll spend just 1 minute talking a little bit about our company. We have 120 years of experience working in shipbuilding and ship repair. We have 500 craftsmen, 2 yachts, 1 stainless steel workshop, and a net sales of 420 million kroner. So we are a fairly large company in the Faroe Islands. We have a dry dock in Skala, which is in the neighboring island Esterøy. We have a dry dock, slip, workshop, construction hall, and all that what you would expect from a company like ours. We also are in these very premises here where we are sitting now. Just next door we have the shipyard, and in all the buildings you see here we have construction halls, we have storages, we have machinery departments, headquarters and everything just next door to this university. So they are good partners here. And maybe some of you will visit us afterwards. We have some construction halls and workshop. As you can see, the floor is very clean. It was just painted at this step. We invest into modern equipment all the time so that we stay ahead of the game. And we are very proud of having a good drawing department with civil engineers and other good people, where we have state-of-the-art equipment and software, which is very important to produce some important solutions within this very area. We have 13 employees in that area who work with design, consultancy and project management. Here is MEST Runavik, which is our stainless steel workshop, a fairly large one, who works with factories and stuff like that on board vessels and on shore with Bakkafrost and other aquaculture companies. Our customers are both sea-based and land-based. Here is one of the example of our aquaculture area, which is a catamaran workboat for Bakkafrost. Here is in Strand Bakkafrost, and other examples of vessels as well as power stations. So we are both land-based and working on sea. We try as much as possible to be a part of the innovation process, to be a part of the environmental solutions, and our part is very often the practical part. So we have worked with all the windmills in the Faroe Islands, where we have a part of servicing the windmills. So we have a number of people constantly being on courses in Europe in order to get the opportunity to service these windmills. In Suðuroy we as well have been a part of installing the windmills. We are used to the wind. We are not frightened of going up in the heights, so we have a part there. So we continuously invest into that. This is an interesting one, which was Minesto, which is working in the fjords of Vestmanna, where they test kites below the sea in order to produce power. Minesto is a Swedish-based company, and we help them doing all the practical work in doing these tests, where they produce energy from the tide, from the current. This one you cannot see as clearly as you should, but here we have installed some wings, wave foils, which makes the ferries go more smooth through the water, and because they spread out and they go more smooth through the water, and it's an energy saving of between 5 and 15%. It's a well-kept secret. We'd not talk too much about it because everyone else will go after this. These are foils and wings we put into the vessel. Very practical. Anyway, here is where we are based. We are based in the middle of the North Atlantic, 1 hour from Norway, Iceland, Scotland, and fairly near Greenland as well. We find ourselves in the middle of a maritime sweet spot. We are in the middle of the world. We are not out in the area, because we find that a lot of maritime activity is happening in this area. And we have to as was mentioned earlier, we have to produce things ourselves on these islands. We have to find out solutions ourselves. Secondly, we are very flexible. We have to adapt to challenges. We cannot wait for weeks for someone. We have to do it ourselves. So if you look at this circle, this is just 1 hour for any sort of service you need. So this is very good for a company like ours, that you can get this sort of services. You have a high standard of infrastructure, which you will experience while you are staying for a week here. You will see the subsea tunnels. This is a very great advantage for us. Nothing is more than 20 minutes, half an hour from us. We have a skilled workforce. Collaboration is very good between companies, as was mentioned just earlier. And finally, what we are working towards is a very quick service, so that the vessels have a short dwelling time and the downtime for companies is very short. We have built more than 100 vessels over the years. The last one was built in 2020, a very large, not very large, but a large oceanic research vessel for the Faroese government. We're very proud of that vessel because it's one of the most quiet vessels in the world. We do not want to disturb the fish, you see, doing research work. So this is built according to all sort of, what you call it, state-of-the-art parameters, making it the most quiet one. So they can make more accurate research results. And state-of-the-art accommodation as well. We want people to thrive on board. We want scientists to work on board. Now to the case today. Green energy workboat. We won this in competition with others, and we were very excited to go ahead with this one because it's a big challenge to make a 100% green workboat. So this is the workboat if you look at the specifications. 50 meters long, 7 meters wide. Recommended speed is 8 knots, and it can go up to 10 knots. And the bullet pull is 9 tons. So it's perfect for the working conditions which you have out in the fjords here with the aquaculture rings. Yeah? So this lives up to all those criteria. The solution, in short, is an energy-saving design where the whole design and choice of equipment is made, everything is made to save energy. The selected battery solution is available for use today. Other energy solutions were investigated, but no one was ready in the very near future. The working day becomes quieter, cleaner and easier for them who work on board. The solution can be implemented immediately when the boat is ready, and all the work is carried out here in the Faroe Islands. That's the solution in short. We opted out biogas, hydrogen and other options. Why? Hydrogen, missing class approval. The classification authorities did not approve this. Lack of infrastructure in the Faroe Islands, as was mentioned earlier. Hydrogen has a power kilowatt hour price than battery, much higher. And we actually looked into it, and the additional price in the operating would be around 300,000 kroner per year compared to a battery solution. That's just the operating cost. Looking into biogas, you need a big tank on board, engine to burn the gas, and there's a noise pollution on board. So we sort of opted that out as well. And finally, methanol and ammonia, still on a test basis and not ready. The supply is not in place. Having said all that, if you visit conferences around Europe, you can see a lot of developments are happening here. And a number of our suppliers are trying to do marketing around all these areas. You can actually see systems which could solve this, which could solve that, etc. But when I ask them what is the price, they say, twice as much as battery. When I ask them, can we get supply for this? No, not yet. So it's basically just a gimmick, but it works. So, but we can see that it's only a matter of time when some of these solutions would be ready. The energy-saving design, what we did was doing tests in our laboratory, simulation tests with advanced computing, in order to get resistance as low as possible. So we tried to make it go as fast and as possible and saved 9% energy just by doing the design correctly. So there you are. Just by doing wings, doing designs, you can save energy. The propulsion engine, which makes sure that the whole thing works. PM motor with a high power and less energy waste. The propeller, controllable pitch and an energy optimization because of that technology. And finally, this all gives 8 nautical miles per hour, which is okay for this vessel, and this is what we are proud of. The battery solution was from Brunvoll in Norway. Why did we choose Brunvoll? Because we knew this company. They provide solutions, and they have provided solutions for the ferry which we are using in the Faroe Islands, Erla Kongstetter. So instead of choosing perhaps the cheapest solution, we went for a solution which we relied on. Relatively light and compact solution, and designed for a long life, and thereby a more environmentally friendly solution. So this was the battery. And the selected solution, the battery, also takes environment seriously, as we have heard just earlier. The supplier includes the environment and recycling in the system. And this is a significant part of their system. So the battery actually comes from Faroese, which is a Canadian company. The purpose is to maintain a sustainable life from birth to death of these batteries. What's interesting here is that the batteries, when they are worn out, we cannot use them anymore on the catamaran workboats. Around 70% of it can be recycled and used physically at the small stations after 15 years or so. So this is interesting. It's not just thrown away, but can be reused. The construction cost, built in the Faroe Islands, the price is the same as for other catamaran workboats. The only difference is that the battery solution gives the extra additional cost. And the battery prices are expected to be reduced to a third over the next 5 years. That's what we can see when we read literature. And it happens all the time. So this is interesting to see what happens here. Operating costs, 311 kroner per hour. Converted, it's 3 kroner per kilowatt hour. And that is cheaper than what they do today in operating the catamaran workboats. All work undertaken here in the Faroe Islands. This was proud people who had made the hull and the steel work. This was when it went to surface treatment, and that's approximately where we are now. The finished workboat will look very much like this. The accommodation is sort of okay to work on, and this is the machinery area. The only difference is that it'll not be an engine there. It'll be 2 big battery packages, huge big battery packages. But hopefully they will change and be reduced over time, the size of the battery packages. So actually we had to make this catamaran workboat 30 centimeters higher because it's so heavy, the battery packages. In summary, everyday life will become better, much better. You will get less noise when you work on board, less pollution, no smoke and gas on board, very little maintenance, because the elements on board are static. It's not like everything is rolling around. And it'll be charged once a day with cheap power at night, with the plug and charging station, just like you have with cars. So every night they will make sure this happens. And this is how the vessel will look like, exactly like this when it's finished. We have put on this green line here, and it's zero emission here. So this was the short presentation of the actual work. You will see the catamaran workboat later on. Okay?